Hello everybody, welcome. I am Ashen Prime here once again on the Twitch streaming services doing things. I haven't actually, well, that's not true. I have decided, as apparent by the stream title and probably the title of the thing on YouTube. I am here to play some Pitioss, here to speedrun some Final Fantasy 15. Specifically Final Fantasy 15 dungeons. I knew I was forgetting something. I need to open Life Split still, so I can actually see what my times are. But once I get that open, I will swap over my screen, and we will be ready to go. Boop. Ah, come on, game. Come on. There it is. Should have probably opened my scenes and made sure I had everything set and ready to go before I started. But this is kind of just spur of the moment. I just got back from a bit of an errand and was like, you know what? I've got nothing else to do today. I've decided I want to stream right now. So we're going to do that. We're going to run some Pitioss while we listen to some pretzel and just all in all have some fun. Shall we get started? Let's. Do I have anything else I need to do? I don't. Okay. Here we go. That is not good performance. Let's fiddle with that. Let's say, oh yeah, let's pop that back down to low. Apply and return to title. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to. That's unfortunate. Not entirely sure why it does that when you change graphical presets. I assume that there's just a specific setting that it has to mess with, because when you if you have a custom and you just change individual items inside that custom custom graphics. Words are hard, and also I'm not great at computers. But in here, if you have this set to custom and you change things in here, it doesn't have to reset everything. Maybe there's a specific, probably like the level of detail in the models it would have to. Frame rate, we can take that down to 30. That's what I'm broadcasting in. That'll be fine. Okay, we're going to call that good and reload our save. And this has been Final Fantasy 15 settings for terrible computers with your host, Ashen Prime. It's not a terrible computer. This is a very nice computer for 3 years ago. But I bought it right before the 10 series NVIDIA cards launched, so I have a 980 in this thing and 8 gigs of RAM on one stick. Also, for those curious, I can't imagine many people are, but I'm drinking a handcrafted root beer. This is the original Bulldog. We did a tasting at work recently where one of my coworkers brought in like 12 different types of root beer, all some specialty items and an A&W for comparison. And we did a taste testing, and I took home some of the spares, so I've got a Bulldog root beer today, which I like sugar, so what can you do? But I did realize that it looked a lot like an alcohol bottle, and I don't function well enough sober, so I'm definitely not going to get drunk at any point. Alright, what are you doing, game? Besides confusing me. Uh-oh. I don't have a mouse right now. That's not ideal. Oh, I loaded the wrong darn save. That's helpful. Let's not be here. Oh, it has been a week. I had an unfortunate fortunate call time. I work in a theater and in the events space. And I had an unfortunate call time to get somebody out of our space that they had been using it for a couple of weeks. And my call time was 10 at night, and I did not get back home until 6 that morning. Which isn't common for me and the work that I do. It's not uncommon in the event space, but it isn't common specifically for me, so I am still recovering. It's a bunch of fun, let me tell you. Okay. So after nearly 10 minutes of piddling around trying to get things to work, that is much better. That is the kind of performance that I'm used to and can do. Well, that was weird. That's probably just loading the entire freaking dungeon, though, so think we'll be fine, and if not, I can turn it down even more. But here we go. Boop. I still have not decided if the fastest way to get this first button is to jump off of here and turn around, because you do have to wait for it to get good. To get good? Yeah, sure. You do have to wait for it to activate. But I'm not entirely certain that that's going to be the best place to do it. But the only other spot I can think of is literally right at the end, and that just doesn't seem as useful a time. That seems like it would take more time to do. So I don't know. It's an awkward button to try and get. I say button or plate. I use the word button to mean the plates. I think plate is a more correct term, which is why I have called the category all plates. But I will call them buttons personally every single time. That was an unfortunate spot to get stuck. Do. Whip. Whip. So part of this whole... Part of this whole currently recovering from weird long hours things. And this was a couple of days ago, but still. I haven't had a good chance to rest yet, and I'm spending it... Apparently, I'm spending it falling off of this one pit in Pitioss. It's fine. You. Jump. It's fine. We're just going to pretend like that one never happened. We're going to pretend like that one never happened. It's fine. But what I was saying is that I'm probably going to be a bit more quiet today than usual. Let the music do a lot of the work of entertainment, besides the obviously visual aspect of me jumping around a weird puzzle. Because I just can't right now, which is fine. Alright, let's do this again. It's the same amount of time for that stupid thing to activate either way, so I just kind of want to bounce around and not be immobile. At least I'm fairly certain that's what's happening with it. It seems to be on a timer. Once the thing lands, then it waits X number of seconds, and then it activates. So what I have to figure out is waiting that X number of seconds faster than reroute somewhere else in the run to get that spot. Wow, I completely forgot which way was up. It's fine, don't worry about it. I am pleased that as I do this run more and more, that I'm getting more and more used to how to control Noctis in cutscenes, that weird thing that just happened notwithstanding. Also, I'm really pleased with the freaking cat skin. That's just, it's perfect. It's perfect. And no, that's not supposed to be a pun, but it could be one, so go ahead and take it. Boop. So as far as I can tell, this spot here, this specific platform I'm standing on, is the first spot it's possible to get Noctis to get to the top of the ball and fall through that hole and all that I just did. Regardless of which way you go. So I like to go the way where you don't die, but I think voiding out and going back to the beginning is just as solid a strategy. I don't think there's any time save between the two of them. Some more research could be done, but I don't I'm not going to. If other people get interested in this run, they can do whatever research they like and whatever routing and practice they like to do. And while I may or may not... Weep. No, that's going to crush me if I go now. Especially since I wouldn't be able to jump on this thing. The timing of getting on that platform at the end of that run is basically as soon as you can get underneath the spikes is the soonest that you can get there. There's no good way to give this just a half a heartbeat. Make sure that the hitbox is actually moved, because I've gotten caught by that too many times. By too many, I mean like 10. At least 5. Oh, don't jump then. Okay, sure. That certainly isn't what I wanted to have happen there. I get too cocky in this room. I feel like I know it too well, and then stuff like that just happened. That just happened. That just happened to all of us, but mostly to me. This is so far not shaping up to be a great run. Let's see, looking at the times though, it looks like it was a 5-second ad, or 5 second. Oh, wow, wow. Nope. Not even. So the current PB that I am comparing against did not hit the first button as soon as I got to the bottom of the elevator, because I forgot it existed. And so this current PB, that's a 23 something. 23 something. Is, in fact, I should find out and put that on the... 1 second. Edit. Oh, it's 21:30. Let's do that. Let's watch as I... You are... Are you a different thing? No, cancel. Okay, I need to delete you. Yes. Sorry, I'm going to switch back to my face, and you can stare at that while I spend just a moment fiddling with stuff. Okay, so what do I want to do here? I want to take you. I want to paste a duplicate. I want to rename this duplicate. You will instead be showing off my PB. And so I will go ahead and come in here. And yes, I could do this live where you could watch it, but I work in the realm of... I don't need to say that, I just need to... PB is... I work in the realm of theater, where you don't show them the man behind the curtain, and that's just kind of a way of life for me, and I don't want to... I want you to be smaller and down here. In fact, let's go ahead, copy your transform and paste your transform into here and shift you all the way over. So yes, I'm sure that staring at my face as I stare at a screen is not the most enthralling thing. The music's so good though, so that's what we're really here for. I'm gonna have to actually get this a lot of over. Just realizing. Probably up here. Sure, okay. We're going to switch on back to it, and then I'm going to continue fiddling with this a little bit to make sure that it's actually where I want it to be. Just so I can see it a little bit better. I actually want that just a touch bigger. There. I don't like that. Center it more. over here, maybe? Nope. Okay, never mind. You know what? I'm not going to do it. Yes, I'm going to get rid of it there, and instead I'm going to do it here. Boop. Give me a layout on this instead. Edit layout, that's what I wanted. Going to add here at the bottom, information, current comparison, that's what I want at the bottom. Yeah. And you know what? I'll get rid of current pace because I don't actually care. Oh, that's not what that's showing what I thought I wanted there. Okay. Timer? No. List? No. Information. Total playtime, text, sum of best, run prediction, previous segment, possible station. I want it to show my current PB at the bottom. That's what I want it to see. Well, that's not going to be there. That's unfortunate. Okay, fine. The run prediction can stay there. Cancel. Cancel everything I just done, basically. Leave that where it was. Fine. We just won't have my PB on screen. I don't actually care anymore. Okay, enough about lollygagging. As I was saying, my current PB on this is 21 minutes and 30 some odd seconds. But it doesn't have hitting this button at the end, or at the beginning. Which means that when looking at... Oh, fine. I didn't jump off. Let's not get crushed by those, shall we? And click. I guess I could have been closer to that button when it clicked. Which means that in the last run that I aborted, the plus 5 seconds was all in getting that... Not all, but mostly in getting that button, because I... I'm not flawless through this, but it was a pretty clean run. That's okay. That was interesting. Sudden camera wonkiness.
Get this.
That cutscene is the most annoying because I assume to make sure that Noctis can't somehow run in front of the ball and do stupid things, they absolutely nerf all of your movement there. Can't do a darn thing. I don't think it's quite an invisible wall, but it certainly feels similar. So +8 on that one. So I think... And that one was just a sloppier first room in general. So I think the +5, because that felt really clean, I think we can assume... darn it. We can assume about 5 seconds extra time doing the first button, or the elevator button is actually what I'm going to call that. Or elevator plate, I guess. Doing elevator plate that way, as soon as you get to the bottom, it adds about 5 seconds to the first room. I don't think there's going to be any faster place to do it, but I am curious. Sure. That was odd. I am curious. There is another. That's 2, 3. I've raisin. I have in the past stuck to a 3 strikes rule. If I just whiff a jump or something, fall into the void, or void out as I like to call it, 3 times, I would restart. Obviously that was 3 voids there. I have altered that rule slightly because the actual number isn't so much the indicator as just how annoyed am I getting at it, and do I need to back away and not continue beating my head against this wall? Is it more worthwhile to reset at this point? And so that's kind of where the 3-strike rule came from in the first place, because I'm really bad at telling when I need to stop. So it's like 3 seems like a good number. Well, it's not quite. It's been a little bit. Oh shoot! It's been a little bit aggressive. So I'm altering it more to be like either as soon as I start feeling annoyed, then I just reset, and that's fine. And then I don't have to fight against that, and I can try again in the next run. And I have levels of annoyance, and I know what the level is that I need to stop at. It's right about here, actually. So the other thing that I reached there that is kind of my other cutoff point is 5 falls, because 3 was just not quite enough. 5 is a little bit more room to fail before restarting, but it's still also kind of my personal threshold. It's just like, that's a bit farther than I wanted to go. A bit more fail than I wanted to go. And I'll be honest, when I decided that I wanted to stream, I knew that this would kind of be how these runs went. Because as previously discussed, not functioning at 100% at the moment. That's fine. The other thing that I have a tendency to do just on my own, is ignore the rule if I'm sick and tired of restarting and just want to finish a freaking run, regardless of how bad the time might be. So you know what? I'm going to try this one differently. I'm going to try getting this button later and see how much time that adds to the another spot in the run, which is kind of tricky because what I'm going to have to do is actually just pay attention to where the timer is at that point and see how much time it takes me to go and get the button and get back on route, because I don't currently have a good time set. The PB has just a terrible time in the last couple of splits. And so I have actually spent some time. Oh, I was going to hit the button there, and that would be incorrect. I have spent a good chunk of time going through and attempting to practice the tail end of the run. But it is currently my weakest. Oh, no, that is just an invisible wall I was running against. Okay. It's hard to tell when you're not as close to the character model as that camera is when it's all the way back there. Because I thought, previously I had thought that he was making some forward momentum. It was just not a lot, but no, it's just straight no momentum. You are against a wall. Which is fair, I guess, to pull off what they want there. Anyway, as I was saying, the tail end of the run, the last few splits are currently my weakest. Probably because when you do a lot of resets, you practice the beginning a lot and not so much the end. That's just kind of the nature of how resets work. And so I haven't spent a lot of time there, or I had not spent a lot of time there. I tried to go and spend more time. But another factor is that once I get to that point, I'm just kind of tired and want the run to be over anyway. So I get a little bit... As I said before, I'm kind of quick to frustration, which is unfortunate. And I'm trying to not. But it takes me a couple of... at that point, I'm just more prone to... Dang it. Just more prone to mistakes. As I get... Well, there's a reason it's called on tilt. It's true for pretty much every human being. No! Why am I trying to do something weird here? I'm not entirely certain what I'm doing, but I know that it's not correct. Because I definitely have a correct way to do this. That's not it either. This is, unfortunately, not uncommon for me in this room. I'm real good at failing this room. It's also one of the rooms that it's really hard. I don't think there is another way to skip past all of this random gubbins. But I also just kind of don't like this room, so I try and get through it as quickly as possible and then never touch it again, which means that I don't have as much practice in it. Whereas this room, I quite enjoy, because it's one of the first rooms that I solved, which I think I mentioned before. Not on this stream specifically, but... But in solving it, I spent a lot of time in it, so... There you go. Doesn't mean that I can't mess up, as showcased in earlier runs, but I am less likely to. This room is still almost a... It's not really a shot in the dark anymore. I definitely have... I definitely know what I'm doing. It just always feels off. It's kind of a hectic room for me. No! Bad! I'm still trying to figure out the timing there where I need to stop jumping, because as soon as the camera moves back to Noctis, the way that I'm at that point holding the jump button is no longer the way that I actually want Noctis to go, because that just takes him right off the edge. Oop. This is another spot that I would love to figure out a good skip for, because having to sit and wait in this corner is so painful. What's interesting about this room is that for the any percent for a while, or at least for one of the any percent runs I've seen, I don't know the full history of Pitioss any percent, I'll be honest. But there is a skip in this room, a glitch more, that you can take to get straight to statue room. That was just terrible. That I haven't personally mastered, but I also don't ever plan to, because it's not a thing that I ever want to do. Mostly because then you're not hitting the all buttons. Oh, this room. I was doing so well, and then I missed that jump, which I thought I had unlocked, but oh well. Okay. Whip. Whip. Come on. Maybe don't walk right into the spikes, Noctis. No, bad. It is tricky for me to split there, which means I should probably put my split button someplace else. Make life easier. But it's tricky for me to split there. Maybe I could put it here. That might not be terrible. Primarily, no, that was all sorts of bad. Primarily because as soon as I land, I need to run and get down here, and if my hands are off the controls, that's a pain. Which is different than my initial route, because my initial route, I sat here for a second before I had to do any movement, so it was fine to split there. But now, to get this into one cycle, I had to immediately get down on that platform, which means that there's less time to split. So maybe if I start hitting the split while he's in the air. I definitely hit the attack button there, game. You were definitely supposed to be doing a thing. And that thing was not falling. So yeah, if I'm... Wow, I glitched the camera. That's nice. If I'm fast enough on the... on getting down here... Oh, well there you go. That's a strat. Maybe I can use that in the future. I can just hop right on as soon as I get into the room and just avoid several cycles. Because this thing is cycle heavy. But hitting the split button is actually interfering with that, so I need to find a different way to split. Either a different time to hit that split, or just actually a different button that I hit to split. Which is tricky, because pretty much every button except for the ones that I'm using to split right now, I have bound to something in this game. I'm trying to think of what buttons are near my hands that aren't currently in use somewhere. There's not really a ton of them. Other options include, I guess, additional input devices, maybe. I am considering getting an Elgato or Stream Deck. Not considering. I'm going to get myself a Stream Deck at some point, just because it's amazing, and I've wanted one since I learned that they were a thing. I just haven't had much use for one, but I'm figuring out new and interesting ways to use them, figuring out all the people who have created programs to hack them. I'm not sure that I'm going to make that. Yeah, that was my fear. All the ways that people have hacked them. Oh, this run. I just want to get it done. What I really want from this run right now is, sure, it's been kind of terabad for the last couple of rooms, and that's fine. That's whatever. These last couple of splits have been bad. Whatever. What I really want from this run right now, though, is I want to get to the end, get to the final splits of the run, and put forward a good time on those. I'm hoping to see some gold, basically, is what I'm saying. Or at least some green on those guys. There we are, that's what that's supposed to look like.
Need to get back.
This room is tricky. This space, I guess, is tricky. Because not just because of the weird geometry, but because the weird geometry means that Noctis actually moves slower. Which means that in theory, if you're trying to move fast, you want to spend as little time touching it as possible. But because it's weird geometry, the as little time touching it as possible means jumping, but jumping isn't always safe because you're jumping downhill sometimes, and that is definitely not safe. Here, however, you're jumping uphill, so it's a little bit safer. But still, because of the way the jumping up and down inclines works in this game, you sometimes just travel farther than you intended. Or not far enough, as the case may be there. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I didn't think I had jumped too soon, but I just completely whiffed it, and that's not great. Okay, good. Did not die. Can we go up over this, please? Thank you. So, a lot of this is just practice, getting used to... Like, jumping down inclines is actually not as helpful. Jumping up them is... Well, that's not great. Jumping up an incline is supremely helpful. It's much faster. Jumping down inclines is weird because it's actually slower for a couple of reasons. One, I feel like the floor meets you faster, which is just strange. I'm not sure why it meets you faster going downhill than it would going uphill, but it just feels like it does. But then there's also the land and the recovery that you get. So, yeah, there are certain spots where it's kind of safe to jump downhill, but I still don't do it. And then there's spots like this one where it absolutely is not safe to do anything except run. And the run is just not that powerful on this slanted surfaces. Come on, get over there. No! I'm not entirely sure why he suddenly sped up and took a couple extra steps there. That's part of the challenge of this dungeon, is that these controls were not made for any precision movement, and you have to be kind of precise. So you have to get used to how to maneuver the sloppy controls to your advantage. I'm not entirely sure what masochist thought, you know what? Why don't we take these controls that we have that are just a little bit messy, just a little bit imprecise, and let's make a platformer. We want a platformer dungeon. Like, this has all the hallmarks of just being one designer's pet project. Or maybe like 2 or 3 guys. I say guys, 2 or 3 programmers, designers. They're just like, you know what? I want to make a platform dungeon. You know what a platform dungeon needs? It needs giant skulls. It needs giant flaming skulls. And a tilted room. And demon statues. And goddess statues where you have to jump on their boobs. And we'll put a item in her navel. Oh, good heavens. I'm 3 minutes over and starting the room over again. This one isn't going great. And I consider, especially that the first time I put forward for all plates, which didn't actually hit all the plates, so it doesn't count, was 19 minutes. The fact that I'm already at 16 and probably still, let's be honest, 10 minutes away from the end of this dungeon is slightly disheartening. On the other hand, I know that I can do better. I'm just not quite in the right frame of mind or physicality at the moment. I'm not sure that it's faster to make that fall early than it is to jump on it later and not have to recover. But I feel faster. I feel like I'm progressing more quickly when I can get onto it quicker. Boop. Here, then up, over, up over here, around over here, down over here. Okay, this is the farthest I've made it in this dungeon so far this run. And over here, and then straight down here, and now we're practically home free. So yeah, checkboxes when you're making a platformer. Well, you gotta have your creepy skull room. You gotta have your spikes that kill everybody. And of course, you gotta have it in 2D. Because I think that that's a funny line to use whenever I get into this 2D section. I kind of love it. Mind you, it's a poor comedian who laughs at his own jokes. That's not true. Comedian doesn't think his own jokes are funny. He's not much of a comedian. And I'm using gendered terms here, and I probably shouldn't, but... But as I was saying that comedian line, I was thinking of a very specific comedian in my head who is male. Like, well, if that person didn't laugh at their own jokes. Well, whatever. Oh, see, gold through there. That wasn't bad. I actually didn't like that. I thought that was a pretty sloppy 2D room, but apparently it was fine. Let's see how we do with boob skip today. This is how you can tell that I'm just kind of tired out of it and don't care. It's when I'm not using carefully codified language to avoid saying the word boob on stream. And here I was thinking I wanted to start applying the family-friendly filter tag to my streams, and I'm like, today is not the day for that.
Ah!
I like just standing on this corner because you rotate at just the right speed that you don't have to worry, well, that I don't have to worry about falling off. I'm not entirely sure why I always use second person referring to things like that. The universal U. Habit I've tried to break many times and try not to do, but it happens. It happens to me. Nope, missed it. Okay, wait for my stamina to come back. I was afraid of that. It felt like I was waiting too long. But I'm glad that I caught myself before I had to reset the entire puzzle. This makes this slightly simpler. Also, you'll note that I'm still 2 minutes away from my PB pace in this room. PB split, I guess. Okay, here we go. Nope, too late. Dang it. I am kind of trying to keep my stamina bar low so I don't have to sit and wait as long later. But I obviously don't want to empty it because that doesn't help anything. Too soon. Oh no, I made that.
This is ridiculous.
Nice. I can't believe I'm still standing on that ledge, but I apparently was. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, this corner, and then right about now. Oh, too late. I thought I had this down. It appears I did not have this down. Just get up here. You'll note that he moves much differently, or it's mostly his idle animations that change when he's out of stamina. Now I did hit the jump button there, but the jumping was not achieved, and that is slightly upsetting. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure that I've ever gotten a first try skip here. Oh, why? Okay. One, 2, 3, and then nose in. That seam. There it is. Hey, it didn't hit the random invisible wall that time. Oh, that's, I think, 2 more tries than I had last time. I think each try is about 45 seconds-ish, depending on where I fall, obviously. So here's a case where jumping uphill is just better. I could probably jump off of the statue to the tip of that beam without too much issue, but I don't know. This room still scares me a bit. I have spent a lot of time falling off of the scaffolding, so I'm hesitant to do too much jumping. Do not have as good a control over Noctis when he's jumping than I do when he's on the ground. Okay. So we're gonna try and these are the 2 splits, same room and Black Hood, which are the last 2 splits of the run, are the 2 that I'm really trying to get cleaner. I'm going to attempt to focus better, be more on top of things. Oh, and I do still need to get elevator.
Just great.
So the knives do have a significant drawback. Almost literally, in that at the end of the attack animation, Noctis draws back, takes a couple steps back, and can easily fall off the edge if you're not careful. That's why a lot of times you'll see me jumping as right after I attack with them. Attack with them standing. An aerial attack, the spinning attack that gets me more distance in the air, not so much. Although sometimes when you land, he does like to take a step back. But I will often be jumping at the end of an attack so that he doesn't move backwards. And that's kind of what I meant to really get good at Pitioss. At least for me to have gotten good at Pitioss, a lot of it is mitigating the controls that are the sloppy movement, I guess. Which, in terms of looking cool, I understand why the programmers did what they did, because with all these fun animations, Noctis sure looks cool. That's what I wanted to see. But his the ability to control him precisely is limited. As I think I've mentioned before, one shouldn't consider or the best way to think about the way that Noctis moves is not... I have not been able to stick that landing for a while. That's slightly disheartening. Not entirely sure what I'm doing wrong, but I need to figure out how to do it right and do that consistently. Anyway, the best way to think about Noctis is not as if he is the player character. Because he really isn't. The best way to think about Noctis is as if he is his own character, whom the player gives suggestions to. So you can suggest... Not entirely sure why my game is suddenly choppy, but it is. Missed the button. So you can suggest that he stop moving, but he won't until he has taken as many steps as he wants to. Okay, great, there we are. Oh, because my friggin... my antivirus is acting up. That's what's happening. Why? Why is that void zone out here? Why does that void zone take me all the way out here, game? This doesn't make any sense. Thank you. Hit that button, void out. So I only needed to hit that button so that I would hit all the buttons. Okay. Now we jump over here with a little bit of a flourish because I can't actually make that otherwise. It might be possible. It might be possible for another player, but I have found that I cannot make that jump otherwise. Okay. Now here's the point where we look at our timer. We're at 30:01. How much time does it take for me to beat this guy up when my freaking game and computer is not actively trying to kill me? Okay, more than 10 seconds so far, but most of that currently is that my computer has just decided that it hates me, and I'm gonna bet that there's a scan going on for my antivirus. Okay, so that took about 30 seconds, which admittedly that wasn't quite a fair comparison because my computer had suddenly just died. Just absolutely crapping all over the floor. But, either way, it was still longer to do that route, which is the only other place I can see routing in the elevator button, than it is to just sit and wait at the beginning. Which does sound terrible. It sounds terrible to spend... because you hit the button, and then you travel down the elevator, and then you sit and wait and hit the elevator button again, and then have to get off. It sounds terrible for that to be the start of the run, but in order to get all plates, which includes that plate, I think that's going to be necessary. Okay, let me take a couple of seconds and turn off some friggin' malware, whatever the heck you were doing. What are you doing to me, malware? Or anti-malware, whatever. Go away for now. I don't need you at the moment. For the sake of completeness, let's go ahead and just do that. I was fairly certain I turned system sounds off. How did you just make that noise? Well, whatever. For those watching, yes, that was my computer, not yours. I apologize. Anything else that I can disable right now? No, everything else I have to keep. Okay. So that was a 30-minute run. That was actively bad. But you'll notice that even with as bad as my Black Hood was, failing that jump a couple of times to get the random out of the way button and taking an extra 30 seconds, and also my computer crapping the bed, that was still 30 seconds faster than the PB pace on that. So, you know, can I save this? Save splits. Not me, would you like to say this run as personal best? No. But I do want them saved, I guess. Is that how that works? Do they just exist as a comparison time somewhere? Cancel. I don't know. Alright, let's whip. Okay. I'm gonna come over here and... Oh no, I hit this button. I hate...
Well, there's nothing fair about that place.
I'm gonna mute this just for a second because Gladio's line pisses me off every single time. And I can't stand it. Okay. but I wanted to come back over here and give a proper start just in case I actually, you know, save this run for later. So, stream, you're getting something special. And from this point on, I'm going to act as if all the previous parts of the stream haven't happened. Actually, I'm also going to swap my... I want chill. I want some chill tunes. Let's chill out some. Also, one second. I'll be honest, stream. I'm not always, well, I haven't in the past been this very upfront about the fact that I'm considering how these videos get cut up and put on YouTube, or how the runs get stripped out. But I do think about it pretty much every time and try and give myself a good intro that I'm not cutting in the middle of a sentence or a conversation that doesn't make sense. So, all right, let's do our next run and see how we fare. We been struggling a little bit today, but it's fine. We got some good information with that last run, even with my computer freaking out on me. I know now that it's going to be faster to sit here and wait for this button to activate than it is going to be to try and come get it again later. So, boom. Button activated. Jump off the elevator. Let's go. That is a good start to our all plates run, because we're already 20 seconds in and just barely starting to actually do any platforming. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Only messes up a couple of my cycles there, apparently. Actually, that one was mostly because I just apparently couldn't friggin' jump around the corner there at the beginning. It's whatever. That plate that I just hit is actually strangely... I'm not sure if it's buggy, glitchy, or if I just don't hit it right sometimes, but sometimes I do have issues getting that plate to activate. Okay, so the current comparison time for this split does not include the pause and wait to get the elevator button. So it also was just a little bit cleaner elsewhere too. So I'm okay with the fact that it's plus 13. That at least 5 of those seconds are pausing and waiting and getting the button, the elevator button. The other of them are just kind of being sloppy, but that's fine. It's whatever. Boop. My hope is to increase overall the pace in other places where I have not had great splits previously. This was one of them, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm apparently not hitting that because woohoo. Let's just jump right into spikes, shall we? No, don't slow down. Okay.
Give this a go.
That is a good piece of information. So, the first plate I can get on, if I get that, that's the best. The second plate after that, if I miss the jump the first time, the second plate after that is the one that slows down and stops. I'm getting to say plate, even though they're holes, whatever. The surface, this thing I can stand on to get and jump down the hole. This is the one that slows down and stop, which means that it might actually be faster to jump on top of the ball at that point. I am rambling at the camera in an attempt to make interesting content. How am I doing? Not great? Well, I don't know. Maybe we're doing all right. I don't know. Nope, that was death. That was just straight up death there. Whoop, whoop. Okay. And here. We're going. What I really want to do, what I'm really hoping that this run will achieve for me, and we'll see, is get something that I can actually submit to the boards. There isn't currently, obviously, there isn't an all plates route on the board right now. But I talked to or if I submit it, hop into probably Discord, talk with the community, see about whether or not they want to make it its own actual thing. Because I think it's the OOT is currently I know he's the one who set up the official Final Fantasy 15 boards on whatever the friggin' website it is. And so he kind of maintains categories and such there. So if there's enough interest from other people, then it'll be great. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve today, either with this run or maybe another one in a second. I'm also hoping to achieve a little less fail. Just a little less would be nice. But that's fine. Well, this is probably the trickiest part. Well, this is definitely the trickiest part of this room, and it's mostly because of the camera. The camera is just... I'm not entirely sure where to put it to achieve actual good control. So it's just always kind of there. Alright, so this is probably the trickiest room in the game, though. Because of the couple of splits that I'm... The couple of splits? Yes, that's what I meant. The couple of skips in here that I like to think I'm fairly good at, but I miss quite often, unfortunately. But we've got this one here, just jump and jump and jump and spin, and we're good. Didn't quite get there fast enough to hop that board, but I can get on this one, but then I'll be sitting and waiting for the spikes for a bit. Or waiting next to the spikes for a bit. It'll still be faster than not taking this route, but... Oh no, there's one right here. Great. That is much sooner than I was expecting. I still haven't got a good handle on the cycles, on the platform cycles in this room. I'm not entirely sure how they're laid out. All I know is that I spend a lot of time sitting around and waiting for them, and then I get up here, and then I just do this. And then I'm practically done with the room, unless I walk into spikes, which I have done before, don't get me wrong. Well, that was interesting. That's the first time I've actually heard the death sound in the cutscene, which invalidates the theory I had that you're actually invulnerable in cutscenes. But, okay, let's get down here. And now. Sweet! That is one of the tricks that I definitely wanted to have made for a submission video. So I'm really happy that I hit it. I'm hoping that I don't have to do this room again now. We'll see. Like, I still need to perform. Still need to actually, you know, do this properly. But this makes me happy. I'm not sure that Pitioss even has categories on the boards, but we'll see. Has a leaderboard. I assume that it does. Like, people have been running any % since the game came out. But as far as I'm aware, and I haven't paid a lot of attention to the community lately, so that's my own failing that I should just be better at. But as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been a 100% Pitioss or anything resembling this actively run by anyone else. And so that's why I'm kind of just making up the rules to this category as I go. I mean, it's better than the any rooms, which was a thing that I tried for a little bit. It was just like, or all rooms, excuse me, which is a thing I tried for a little bit. It's just like, just go into every room, guys. Well, what constitutes a room? All the places that I like to go to. That's not a category. Well, that's not helpful. That's not a category. That's an exhibition. That doesn't count. Which is why I'm now doing an all plates. Because there is a finite number of plates, / buttons, / whatever you want to call them, activators, I guess, in the dungeon. Which means that it's really easy to count and know whether or not you've hit them all. Could you not step backwards when you're finished with the attack animation? That would be great. It's doing so well. And then I did a weird jump in a way that I've never tried to do that jump before and obviously fell. Obviously fell. And I'm doing this again. It's okay. I got the one cycle on this, so to show that off at least. It's just from now on showing off the rest of this room. Well, I'm glad that worked. I definitely told him to swing his daggers from side to side as we took that jump. And then he definitely didn't, and I made the jump anyway, so whatever. I'm not entirely sure what this music is, but it does not... Well then, it does not belong in the chill category. That is definitely a battle theme from some video game. That might have been... Oh no, that was good. I was afraid that that would have been too late. Or sorry, too early, and I would have just fallen off. Getting the timing right on that jump is tricky, because you obviously don't want to get impaled by spikes. Well, we live here now. You obviously don't want to get impaled by spikes or fall to your death, and both of those are very likely if you don't hit it just right. You jump too late, you jump right into spikes and you die. You jump too soon, you don't have a platform underneath you when you go to land. But it is a significantly better strat than attempting to just run the room as normal, or I had another skip that took more time, and then I found another skip that was faster but anxiety-inducing, and then I found this, and I like it. I like it a lot. I need to stop failing at the rest of this room right now, because 2 minutes over is not great. Do. But I only got plus 30 on side rooms. That's not bad. But I fail in there. Weep. 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 So what is the current status thing in my personal mind about all plates, or about my runs of all plates specifically, is that the very first run I did, I got 19 minutes, which is the fastest I'd ever gotten through Pitioss at all, let alone trying to hit every button.
Need to get back.
Well, that was unfortunate. I definitely should never swing my swords there again, because then I get stuck and have to wait for this. Anyway.
Need to get back.
So 19 minutes was my first all plates, but you'll notice that, well, you won't notice because I don't actually have it anywhere on screen, but that's not my PB, because as I was doing another run afterwards, I realized, oh, there's another button that I haven't hit. And I definitely didn't hit it in my last run. That was only 19 minutes. Well, shoot. And so having routed that button in, that being the elevator button right at the beginning of the, the dungeon, and only added 5 minutes to the run, or excuse me, 5 seconds to that first room. It's like, well, that's great. I've only added 5 seconds to the run. It'll still be sub 20. Except that I haven't been as clean as that run since. So, you know, theoretically, I can get a sub 20 in all plates. But I haven't done it yet. It actually surprises me because, as I mentioned earlier, I tried to do what I called all rooms, which again was just very poorly defined as a category, which is why I've shifted over to all plates now. But all rooms, I skipped some of the plates, but the fastest, my PB on that one is still 20 minutes and 30 seconds. And so to get sub 20 on a completely new category with additional routing required to... Oh, nice. A great cycle on that. I'm not entirely sure how I hit that, but I want to do that more in the future. On a completely new category where I'm wasting time, at least compared to what I had been running previously. Whip. 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 I have to pay attention there because that's my most likely spot to mess up this room. And I always need to stop jumping there. Forget that sometimes. Hey, 10 seconds faster in that room. Nice. Okay, let's see if I can do this first try. I know that I can't do it first try. Let's see if I do it first try. Because the fact that I can do it exists. The fact that multiple tries won't change the fact that I can do it. I know that I can do it first try. I just have to actually do that thing. I have not, to date, done it first try. Alright, let's start expending stamina. And then I go 1, 2, 3, shove my nose right here in this seam. And wait for my stamina bar to get down to just about the T. Which is so exciting, I'm sure. No, stay here. Stay here. Don't keep running around. Minute adjustments to the mouse. Yes, I'm running this on mouse and keyboard, by the way. And then boop. And then boop. And nope. Not quite angled correctly. Unfortunate. Try and expend a little bit of stamina as I do this part getting to the running spot, but it just refills so quickly that it doesn't really help anything. No! Is that half step too far? Okay. I wanted chill music to chill to. With my deepest respects to Pretzel, who are doing some amazing things with music, and the fact that there's just an entire service full of specifically curated music that is allowed to be used by streamers and YouTubers alike, which is an amazing thing. Whoever curated this chill playlist has a very different definition of chill than I have. Like this one fits really nicely, but the thing we were just listening to, that's not chill to me.
This is ridiculous.
The fact that I had a battle theme a little bit ago, how did that even happen? Is it more like, I mean, the likely answer is that there's not actually a curator. They just used the metadata and things like BPM / artist / similar things to do kind of like a Pandora to it. It's curating, they have to have a massive library. I mean, not massive, but a significantly large enough library that it's a pain to actually try and curate anything. Whoop, nope, failed it. Went too late, and so I ran out of stamina before I reached the end, which is unfortunate. Doing so well the first time too, and then I just did not point the right direction. Quickly running out of leeway, which means that it looks like it was 2 to 3 attempts in my PB. Did you not? Not counting random fallings off like this. So this is going to be my 3rd attempt, plus 2 fails. Which is a little bit more than it took for my PB, apparently. It looks like my PB was probably 2 attempts and maybe a couple of fails. By fails, I mean falls. But they're kind of synonymous in my mind. If I have fallen, I have done something incorrectly. So, in an interesting twist of events, yes, twist of events, that's definitely the word that I meant to say. Turn of events. I guess not supremely interesting, but I recently... the right spot, otherwise the timing doesn't work here. Nope, that's a fail. I'm gonna wait. Let my stamina refill. Okay, let's try this again. In an interesting turn of events, I have recently... I'm trying a new... Nope, that was too early. Trying a new chat service. Chatty is the name of it, that I've heard about from other sources, I guess. My words just decided to fall right out of my brain. It was great. Anyway, so that I can actually have my chat open on my PC, because I can't use Chrome on my PC while I'm streaming, otherwise all the bad things happen. Oh, well, that was silly of me. Can't actually use Chrome on my PC, otherwise all the bad things happen, or while I'm streaming, otherwise all the bad things happen. But one of the interesting things about Chatty is that it's got, one of the panes for the chat is it also shows me how many people are in the chat room. And so I can see that I currently have myself, at least 2 bots in the chat room, and I see 1, 2, 3 other names that I'm not so sure of. Which I find fun and exciting and interesting, because Twitch shows that I have 0 viewers. Which means I have people hanging out in my chat room, a couple of bots for some reason. I mean, one of them is the pretzel bot, so that makes sense. But another bot that I don't know who or what they are. And a bunch of other names of people who apparently aren't viewing it right now. They're just in the chat room. Sure, why not? Be in my chat room. Have fun. That's great. No, that's actually great. Please. If you find this a space to be, it's good for you. No. Abort that mission before it crashes and burns. And whip. Whip. Land. There we are. That's what that's supposed to look like. Three minutes longer than that is unfortunate, especially since I was doing so well and I just didn't aim right. See, this is chill music. This is what I wanted to hear more of. Give this a thumbs up. Okay, well, I'm looking at my current pace, and I'm like, well, we're not doing great. On the other hand, this is also the portion of the run that I, in general, don't do great at, so this is where I want to spend a lot of time and attention and trying to be better. This confuses me. I was fairly certain gold splits were better than green splits. But my gold splits have been like 2 seconds or 8 seconds, whereas this green split is 30 seconds faster. Have I missed something? Okay, this music is good. I'm not going to deny that. It is not chill. I want chill. Sure. Why not? I guess how many people will see this run? That's right, just as many people as watch the stream. This run doesn't get to go anywhere else. It gets to just live on this stream. Which admittedly will be archived on YouTube, so... you know, anybody who bothers to watch that. I do try. I do try not to be a downer in general. But I'm kind of tired today. And maybe sick, I'm not sure. Definitely worn out. And just in general, not in a great mood. So I'm not entirely sure why I decided I wanted to stream, but I did. And so I've been streaming now for an hour and a half. And doing alright in this, not gonna lie. But I still haven't gotten better than the admittedly, or the what I think is not a great time that I put forward for a whip for a PB, because I just keep missing things that I feel like I shouldn't be missing, and that's what's annoying. That's what's the annoying part, is that these are things that I feel like I know better, or I'm better at than have been able to put forward today. And a part of that is obviously the fact that I'm not at 100% today, and so I kind of went into the stream knowing that it was probably going to be an issue. I didn't expect it to be as disheartening as it was, as it has been. Which is why, once I finish this run, I think I'm gonna call it for the day, because I need to take a nap, is what I need to do. Like a fussy baby. I need to take a nap and then I'll feel better. Okay, we come here, we come here, we come here. That's it. I just need to hit the daggers sooner, is what's the trick there to not getting thrown off the edge at the end. Here, you come over here, here, over here, over here, fall off the pillar in the cutscene. Come down, jump this pillar, down, jump onto this button. Just missed. My hope was, because I do want to void out. After I hit this button, the fastest way to get to where I want to go after is to be voided and taken back to the... Can I hit it from underneath? No. Is to be voided and taken back to the starting spot. So I'm trying to hit it in such a way that I'm still hitting the button while I fall off the edge. But I don't think that that's actually possible. I think I need a more solid landing on the button in order to activate it. So I'll do a little less. So that's all but one of the buttons. All but the very last plate that will lead me up the final elevator. And this is a much nicer time for this split, at least, even though the actual runtime is kind of garbage. But I hit this. But when I had +3 in statue room, I think I was at least like 4, I think, in skull room. It's not great. It's just not great. Skull room was also +3. First room I'm fine with. The first room I knew was going to be longer. But I'm just kind of annoyed at all the rest of these. So let's save. I don't want this to be the personal best, but I just rewrote that as my personal best. Well, poo. That's not what I wanted to have happen. I don't care enough to go fix it. So instead, I'm going to reload. I said I was going to be done. I changed my mind. I cannot let that nearly 30-minute run stand as my PB. Even if it's not actually my PB. Even if that's just what's stored in LiveSplit. I need to put forward something better there. I need to have something better to compare against than that run that I just did, which was terrible. but I kind of hit the wrong button and screwed myself over. What I think I want to do is, let's go upbeat. No, let's just go straight, not hype. Let's go happy instead. Because chill is fine, but it also, there's something to be said for having the music upbeat to try and get me into better frame of mind, especially when I'm trying to do a speedrun and do things quickly. So, again, stream, I'm going to take just like a half second to collect myself and then come back into it as if I haven't been doing anything else, so that if and when I decide to cut out this video, it's an easy cut. Alright, let's get into this one. We got our music pumping, making us feel good. I accidentally did all my splits, so I have a much better chance of hitting nicer splits this time, I guess, which is good. On the plus side, I did get the first room split that now includes the fact that I've routed this button in right here. Click. I can only improve based on that. I'm no longer going to be going backwards just because my route changed. Oh. Whip. I'm not so sure about the timing on my mashers now. Oh no, but still fine. Great. Hit the button. Glad the button went first try. Sometimes I have issues with that. But this is going to be a nice, clean run. I even let go of the movement control at the right time so that Noctis was facing the correct way and I didn't have to turn him around. That's just an omen. That's just a good omen. Theoretically, I shouldn't have to swing there. Swinging being what I call the attacking in the air with the daggers. I shouldn't have to swing there in order to hit that button. In practice, I found that it's just more consistent for me if I do. I am not often. I have missed that enough times without that I swing all the time now, just to make sure that I make plenty of contact with the plate to make sure it activates and that door gets taken down. So yeah, cleaner run through first room, got a nice screen there.
Give this a go.
Nice clean run through here. This is good. This is going to be a fantastic run. I say, trying to convince myself. Don't question it. Look. You remember the secret? That was all the rage like 15... What's that? Almost 20 years ago now? No, it couldn't have been. I was in high school and I'm only 28. Okay, so about 10 years ago. The secret, all this rage of positive thinking. You know what? Whether or not the universe rewards positive thinking, your own body and psyche rewards positive thinking, which is why I try and... I often make an active effort to use positive language. As much mumbo-jumbo science as it may be in terms of, again, the universe will reward you, that I'm not as sure about. But I know that I'm happier when I'm considering things in a more positive light. So, as much as I may sound sarcastic or sardonic as I say it, say things like, this is going to be a good run. This is going to be a good run. And having thus said so, as the beat drops in the music, all that it remains is for me to make it so. And I'll be honest, thus far, the efforts of myself and Noctis here are bearing that fruit forward. This is a fairly good run. And it makes me happy. Nope, can't jump that quite. Getting a little bit choppy here. Ah! You know, that doesn't surprise me. My best runs are all where I have just a little bit of trouble on this guy. Alright, aren't we, Noctis? We're doing alright. Doing alright. This is not one of the areas I'm too concerned about. This one's fine. Oh, that was silly of me. This one is just figuring out how to go over an edge, which is one of the skills you have to have in this dungeon. There's no getting away from that. You have to know how to traverse a strange corner like this one. And then we bounce on a moving object and bounce off a moving object. And that encapsulates most of the strange movements that you have to be able to do to get a good time in this. Okay. Too late for that platform, but that's okay. We'll get the next one. Go 1, 2, 3. Right on over. Perfect. We have just a second here to collect ourselves as we wait for this platform to come to us. And then we're over here. Jumping into the spikes is not ideal. No, we'll wait for the next one. Not much I can do when it's already that far out. And yes, I still could have gotten on it and ridden it around, but then I can't do the skip. 1, 2, 3. The counting may not be necessary for other people, but for me, it 100% is. I have to be full count von count. Okay. Whip. Whip. On up. Over. Ooh. Ooh. That's good. Whoa! Pay attention to what you're doing. And by you, I mean me. I still somehow made that. And that is stupendous. Good omens. Good omens for the run. That's a less great omen, but it's fine. I can show off the actual tech here a little bit better. It's... Well, that's not it. The tech is actually falling this way, so you don't roll off the edge of the thing. Or if you are going to roll off the edge of the thing, roll off right in front of this doorway so that you can then swing and still land in it. Or do like I just did there and swing and miss. Swinging and missing is also fun. Otherwise, why do you think baseball would be a thing? Jokes. Bad jokes. So yes, hitting that first cycle is great. It skips a lot of things, but it also leads to some other complications, like making sure that you can get this jump. You have to go fast enough there to be able to not sit and wait for it. My game is getting choppy again, which is unfortunate. This is one of the unfortunate realities about running on PC. Is that sometimes you just... performance just tanks because it's a PC. And that's what happens in PCs. The reason I run it on PC, though, is because I am no longer used to controllers. I am not entirely certain that I would be able to do this again, or do this run as well with a controller. But it is worth looking into because it will probably be more consistent. The game will run more consistently, less frighteningly, if I were to. The issue I run into, and the last time I tried to pick up a controller and play any Final Fantasy 15 with it, is I'm just so used to the mouse controls at this point. It's a mouse look, that not having mouse look is
Give this a go.
It is actively difficult. Trying to turn around and look around corners and aim with a, which is that's exactly what you're doing in a platformer. You're trying to aim the character model in the right direction. And so for me, attempting to aim with a analog thumbstick is more difficult than trying to aim with a mouse, which makes sense. It's always easier to aim with mouse. That's why FPS is simpler with mouse and keyboard than it is with a controller. On the other hand, purely digital movement, I only have eight directions that I can point Noctis in. Obviously your 4 cardinal, and then the 4 corners, the 4 diagonals. And so I'm more reliant on the pointing with the mouse to point him in the correct direction. I spend most of my time pressing the up button and then swinging the mouse around wildly. Net 0 on the tilted room, but that's good actually. Pretty clean. Pretty clean. Let's get up here quickly. I had a pretty clean tilted last time, had a pretty clean tilted this time. I'm okay with those coming out as a 0. I expect... Currently, 1 second. Okay, great. I'm expecting that this one will be about the same then. Because... because I forgot to hit the button. I should have hit the button 2.5 seconds ago. Because I forgot where I split on that guy, which is fine. It's showing as a couple of seconds longer. It wasn't. It was about the same. That was on me. That was on me hitting the split. I kind of want to figure out how to... In general, I want to learn how to program. Just because it seems like it will be a good skill for the current...
This is ridiculous.
The current ways that technology is advancing in society, etc. One of the things that I would love to get is an auto splitter for this. As far as I'm aware, there's not even currently an auto splitter for Final Fantasy 15 main game. There has been a load remover on several different occasions. I'm not sure if it works with current version. I haven't paid too much attention to the community recently. But an auto splitter would be nice. Okay, we're gonna get this first try. I can feel them in my bones. I'm gonna go right here and fall off. I stopped paying attention to my stamina bar at some point. That was silly of me. I'm going to call this first try so that I wasn't lying. No, it's fine. Optimism only gets you so far. Then pragmatism has to take over. And pragmatists, well, I won't speak for others, but I know for me, I'm actually mostly a pessimistic person. It's okay. That was... Oh, wow. That was dangerous. I did not think I was going to make that. I'll be honest. I love using the Catboy costume on this just because the idea of Noctis having a tail while he's trying to do this platforming appeals to me. Having the additional balance. Obviously, there's no actual gameplay impact. But it just seems like it makes more sense for a cat person to be running around doing all this ridiculous platforming. Okay, here we go. Just miss it. Just miss it entirely. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, I'll be honest. Or there. So it's an unfortunate fact that this skip is the fastest way through this room. And I say unfortunate because I have another way through this room that is not as fast, but is so much more consistent for me that but it's not. You know what? No, I'm not even. I want to get a good time instead of, or I want to put forward a time. And with as inconsistent as skip is for me right now, I'm just, specifically today, I'm just gonna get through this dungeon, or get through this room and move on. And so you'll notice that suddenly I'm going the wrong direction. And that's because if I come up over here, I jump across these guys, and I come up over here, I trigger this thing, and then I come back down here, and I go up here, over the top, then I stand right here and I wait. This is slower than skip. This is obviously slower than skip. No getting around that. Well, actually, with as long as it takes my stamina to empty, this is still slower than skip. But it's more consistent. And for right now, where I'm just trying to put forward a time, I'm gonna take consistency, please and thank you. So we'll just go ahead and fall down here. And it takes most of your health. If that is consistently the same amount of health I have left over every time, there is so many jokes that can be made there, and that's fantastic. So I use the same save file. I always load the same save, which means that I'll always have the same health when I go into that. And if it always takes away the same amount of health, because I think it is, I think it's percentage based for that specific fall. I don't know that every instance of falling damage is percentage based, but that one definitely is, because it never kills you. It couldn't kill you. If you died in this dungeon, there would be issues, but I think it's supposed to scare you. It's specifically built to take a hefty percentage away. Did I fall when I did that run last? Oh, apparently I did. Sweet. So I'm not certain that I'm going to get sub 20 on this one. In fact, I find that highly unlikely. But I am going to get a fairly good time, which is nice. I did mess up Skull Room quite a bit, which is unfortunate. But I did get to at least show off that skip a few times as I... Oh, fun, sure. Yeah, let's start over here. Let's start over here, because nothing like voiding out in one room and being sent to the beginning of a different room. That makes perfectly total sense, game. Thanks. I appreciate it. Whip, 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 and whip, and whip. Okay, we're good. Anyway, that was what was I talking about? Obviously, I wasn't focusing enough on the game, what I was doing. So let's focus on that instead and not talk about whatever it was I was talking about. You wouldn't think that jump would be as tricky as it is, but it is.
Great.
I like to fall down there and on the ramp, even though it's farther away from where I need to get to, because I know that I'm going to have a recovery animation, and it allows me to do that recovery animation in a safe spot where I'm unlikely to fall in a way that I don't want to. This fall is planned because it puts me right where I need to be. Get up here. Now, there is an argument to be made, and I'll have to take this to the community. Anybody who also cares to also run this this category in the future. There is an argument to be made that the elevator button right at the beginning, the one that I have to sit there and wait to activate before I can hit, can be skipped. It doesn't have to be counted for an all plates. If it is literally the only plate that isn't. Let's not mince words there. It is the only plate that you hit, or that you would not be hitting. But it's also one of the only plates. It is the only plate in the dungeon that can be hit multiple times. So if you notice through the crack in the door as I was over there by the entrance again, it had lit back up, which none of the other plates do.
Yes.
All the rest of the plates are a one-time use plate. Oh, that was close. Dang it. Okay. Yeah, I think going out this way is going to be faster than jumping all the way around. All the other plates are a one-time use plate. You hit the plate and then a thing happens. And that thing can't happen multiple times. The elevator plate, you hit the button, the elevator goes all the way up. And if you're not on the elevator at the time, then the elevator comes back down for you. It also reveals a hidden space that that doesn't actually lead to anything except items, which are unimportant for the run. There's no additional buttons that have to be hit down there. So there is an argument to be made, since it is unique amongst the plates in the dungeon. Technically, the plate that's outside the dungeon, the very first one you hit, does a similar thing, because they're both just basically elevator buttons. Or not just basically, they are both elevator buttons. They make the elevator go up and down, depending on which one you hit. An extra minute and a half on that. That's not great. I keep wanting to hit my split on that guy, but I very specifically moved my split to the white button before it for a reason. Actually, that's where I want to be. Okay. So there's no good way, unfortunately, to land on this switch. And, well, that was silly. What in the world was that? Like, he didn't fall for some reason? There's no good way to land on that switch and then just immediately fall off. I would love to just have him fall off in that cutscene. It'd make this whole thing much faster, but he doesn't. But for both of those switches, which don't actually affect the ability to finish the dungeon, but they exist, and so they must be hit. You'll note that I have used the word switch, plate, and button interchangeably, which I think is fun. Anyway, for both of those buttons, it's faster to void out to the beginning of the room to get to where I need to be after that. Well, sure. I didn't actually pick up the black hood somehow. Sweet, 23. That is... Go ahead and say that. That is pretty darn good. I'm okay with saving that as my PB, even though I don't think it actually is. But it's my PB for current route, so that's good. Although I should think about... There's another possible spot I could route in that... Can I go down this way? I cannot. Well, whatever. There's another possible spot I could route in the first elevator button that might be faster than sitting and waiting for it, but I doubt it. Anyway, 23 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. I'm gonna save that as my current comparison. And obviously there's still some room for improvement. Side rooms, I did some weird stuff there. Statue room, if I can actually get that skip first try, then actually, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely certain that it is faster. I need to go and look through some of my replays. Get one where I definitely hit the skip and time that, versus that one that I just did where I sat and waited. But because I have to drain my stamina bar, I'm not certain that it is faster. But I'm going to call that my streaming for the day. I've been going a little less than 2 hours, and I'm done. Got a good video I can chop up and send to the community and say, hey, who would be interested in, or who else is actually interested in this? Can we turn this into a thing? So I want to thank anybody who has been watching, either live now or on the VOD later. And I hope that this has been enjoyable for somebody. And until next time, have a good one.